If there's one word I hate more than any other word in the dictionary, it's the word wait. I really, really, really hate the word wait because I'm an impatient person. And so I know waiting is a virtue, or patience is a virtue, I should say. Uh, but I just don't have that virtue. Let me be virtuous in another area of my life. But hey, I really hate the word wait because if you're anything like me, waiting is not your favorite word either. I really hate waiting. So if I have to wait on anything, it drives me crazy because I'll admit I do struggle with patience, but that's something I'm working on. Well, so often we get caught up in our own lives and our own plans, and we have timelines and deadlines, and we want things to happen right now. But sometimes it just doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. God doesn't work that way. And so sometimes we just have to, in this life, we have to deal with waiting, being patient, waiting for things to develop, waiting for things to come. But it's definitely frustrating. And so today I want to talk about waiting on the Lord. Yes, waiting on the Lord. Now I know when you think about waiting, like I just said, it might bring up images of watching paint dry or standing in the line at the DMV. That's what I think about when I think about waiting. Just those long, drawn out times where you're just waiting and you just things are not happening. And so like I said, I really hate the word. But today I think we can learn that patience is a virtue, because when you are patient, good things can happen on the other end of waiting. And so today I want to talk about waiting on the Lord and how you, me, and we all can do that. First things first, when it comes to waiting for the Lord, patience is the name of the game. There's just no other way around it. Patience is the name of the game. Picture this. You're at a restaurant and your stomach is growling, you're hungry, you're ready to eat. And the service is moving slower than ever. And that's the most frustrating thing because you're hungry and you have a real need. You have a need because you're hungry. Hunger is a real need. And so you went there for a purpose and you went there to get something to eat, but you have to wait. You have to be patient. Now, I'm not saying that's a good thing, especially at a restaurant, but sometimes that's just the way it is. We have to wait, especially when we're dealing with other people, when we're dealing with the things in this world. Sometimes we just got to wait. And so it's easy to get frustrated. I know. But sometimes waiting on the Lord feels just like that, but on a greater scale. And sometimes we want answers, we want guidance, or we just want a sign to know that God heard our prayers. And we want it like yesterday. And it's hard. I know it's hard. But you got to trust in due time that the Lord has something good that he's working on for you. But here's the thing. Waiting on the Lord means knowing that he's got you. When you surrender control and put your trust in him, amazing things can happen. Just think about all the times when everything seemed to fall into place, when you least expected it, right? And it just felt like the universe just conspired to make all things work out in your favor. But it wasn't the universe. It was God working all things out for your good. But here's the hard part about waiting on the Lord. And I ain't gonna lie to you, it's hard. Waiting on the Lord is a journey that we don't even know what's gonna happen along that journey. We don't know what's gonna happen. We don't know where we're going. And sometimes you are on this journey and you just have no clue of where you're going or how long it's gonna take. And that's the way life is. Even when it's God ordained, sometimes God will put you on a journey and he doesn't give you all the instructions. And it can be frustrating. So it's like going on a trip without a map and not knowing where you're going, not knowing the path that it will lead you. And let me tell you this, even though it's tough, even though it's hard, even though it's frustrating, this one thing is true. If you can stand to wait and let God lead you and walk by faith, it can lead to some pretty amazing places. It really can. If you can just get to the other side, if you can withstand the waiting, it can lead to some mind-blowing places, some places that you never thought you would go. That's why the Bible says that God can do more than you can think or imagine. And that's true. He can do more than you think or imagine, more than you imagine for yourself, because you may create plans for yourself and God got something bigger for you. And so sometimes the waiting is worth it because of what he has in store for you. But picture this. You're waiting for that job opportunity, and it's a job that you wanted, job that you thought you wanted. And instead of getting that job, God made you wait, or you didn't get the job. And you're thinking that this is this is the end of the world. This is the end of my life. I can't, that's the job I wanted. But later on, you end up getting another job, and then you find out, man, this is way better than I thought it was going to be. This is actually better than the job that I wanted. And so sometimes it's like that because God knows the end from the beginning. He knows what's best for you. And so sometimes we have to be patient and wait on his timing and his will to be done in our lives, because sometimes he has something a whole lot better than what you were actually going after. Or maybe you waiting on love. Maybe you waiting to find someone to fall in love with, someone to get married to. And you try, a relationship with a certain person, and it doesn't work out, and you're crushed. But the thing about it is, you don't know like I said, you don't know what God has down the road for you. And you don't know that he may be leading you or making you wait to meet that one person that rocks your world, that one person that sweeps you off your feet, that one person that where you can experience a love that you've never in your life experienced. And so that all comes with just waiting and being patient and embracing the journey, because you never know what can be around the corner if you don't give up. See, waiting on the Lord is a concept that sometimes can be challenging to grasp, but I'll tell you what it's not. Waiting for the Lord is not about idleness. It's not about passivity. It's not about being lazy or just sitting around just waiting with no purpose. It's not about that at all. It's a time for anticipation, expectation, and preparation. It's a period of seeking his guidance and his will, seeking his presence in our lives. I know in this fast-paced world, waiting seems like it's counterintuitive, but yet in these moments of waiting is when we often find the most profound growth and transformation. So what does waiting on the Lord truly mean? It means cultivating patience in a world that demands instant gratification. It means trusting in his divine timing. Even when you feel like time is slipping away, waiting for the Lord requires us to surrender our own plans and our own agendas, and acknowledging his ways are higher than our ways. His thoughts are higher than our thoughts. During our waiting season, we may face doubts, fears, and uncertainties. In these moments, we got to stay steadfast in our faith. We must remember the promises of God, knowing that he is faithful and true. He sees our struggles. He sees our fears, and he knows what we long for. He knows the desires of our hearts, and he is working all things together for our good, even when we don't see it. Waiting for the Lord requires active participation on our part. It's a time of self-reflection, prayer, and seeking his wisdom. It's an opportunity to grow in our character, develop perseverance, and align our hearts with his purpose for our lives. In the waiting season, we can draw closer to him and allow his peace to cover us and his love to transform us. But waiting on the Lord is not without challenges. We may be tempted to become impatient and take matters into our own hands or doubt his faithfulness. But in these moments, we got to remind ourselves of the countless stories in the Bible where God's timing was perfect, where his perfect plan unfolded way beyond what anyone could have ever imagined. We got to hold on to hope, because hope is an anchor for our souls, and it is reminding us that the Lord is at work even when we don't see it. If you're in your waiting season right now, as you navigate your journey of waiting, I just want to encourage you. Be patient with yourself. Recognize that God is with you on this journey. Then when it's all said and done, you can share the stories of your waiting, and you can share the testimony of how the Lord came through for you in a crucial time. And you can share the hope that you have for what he will do in the future. As I said before, the waiting season is an important part of our spiritual journey. It's a time of preparation, growth, and deepening our trust in the Lord. Let's embrace this season, knowing that as we wait, our faith is being strengthened, our character is being refined, and our hearts are being aligned with his divine purpose. We can find comfort in his promises, peace in his presence, and strength in his unfailing love. My prayer is that you never lose hope, because in the waiting, we're being prepared for the extraordinary plans that the Lord has in store for each and every one of us. All right, well, here's today's book recommendation. This is a book called The Charge, Activating 10 Human Drives That Make You Feel Alive by Brendon Burchard. In The Charge, Brendon argues that the only way to measurably improve the quality of your life is to learn how to activate the very 10 drives that make you most human. These 10 drives are your desires for more control. And so this book, Brendon Burchard, the author, he says that there's 10 things that drive every human being to feel alive. And if you want to get these 10 things in your life, and this is what drives people to feel alive, to feel fulfilled. And so that's what he's saying. So the 10 drives are your desire for more control, competence, congruence, caring, connection, change, challenge, creative expression, contribution, and consciousness. These drives shape everything that you think, feel, and do in your life. So understanding and mastering them is critical to your success and happiness. Strategically activating these drives on a consistent basis is the fastest path to living a fully charged life. So I just finished reading that book, actually, and it's a great book. So I recommend getting that book. If you want to get that book, just click the link in the description below and you can get a copy of that book. So today we talked about waiting on the Lord and how if we could just wait on him, we can experience the amazing things that God wants to do in our lives. If you like what we talked about today, check out a video I did on worrying will not change your situation. You need to give it to the Lord. If you want to check out that video, just click or tap the screen and I'll see you in the next video.